Hi YouTube, welcome to my little corner and to my first official video on the channel. Welcome on in. I guess I kind of want to start off with like a little mini introduction. My name is Stephanie, and my goals with this channel in particular are for me to have a space where I can creatively and comfortably, emphasis on the comfortable, share my hobbies and my day-to-day with you guys, like in a very laid-back manner. I do have a lot of different hobbies, but I think the most of what you guys are going to be seeing on this channel revolves around my media consumption, so you'll definitely be seeing a lot of reading content on the channel in the future. So, that being said, we are going to start off this channel with a reading vlog in the hopes of actually curing me of my reading slump. So, back in early March, I had a lot of stress that compounded all at once, and it basically resulted in me losing like all of my motivation and my enthusiasm with reading. Any of the series that had already started this year were impossible for me to continue, and I couldn't really start anything new, beyond like a couple of chapters. So it's now August. It's been quite a few months of me kind of being like in this rut and, just lacking that motivation to, finish a book or finish a series. And my hope is that by doing this vlog and kind of recording it for YouTube, that it'll kind of push me and force me to finish a couple of things. And hopefully by the end of the vlog, after like a week or so of doing this, that I'll kind of have like a refreshed motivation, and I'll be a lot more enthusiastic about getting through the rest of my TBR so that I can possibly meet my reading goals for the year. And I recently just started the first volume in the Heaven Official's Blessing series. This is my first time kind of experiencing this author's work, and it's a little too early for me to tell whether or not this is going to be like my reading slump savior, or if I'm just kind of like enjoying it for what it is, like, a simple story. But my goal right now is to finish this book, and then from there on we're going to decide whether or not I continue the series or if I tap into something else that's on my TBR. So without further ado, let's get the ball rolling. Okay, so I'm like, I guess almost done, or like most of the way done with the first volume of Heaven Official's Blessing. But there's like something that I'm super stuck on. Obviously, Sanlang is Hua Chong. Obviously. Like, that's not really like a massive surprise. I'll pretend like it's a surprise when like they do the revelation in like the next couple chapters. But the one thing that I'm stuck on though is, who is Hua Chong? Like, who was he before he died? And like, I know no one's gonna see this, so I don't really expect an answer, and also I don't want an answer because this is technically a rhetorical question. But is he the little boy that Xi Lian saved like during the prologue, like during the procession when he was doing like that special performance? I'm blanking on like what the actual thing was called, but like he stopped mid-performance to save a little boy that was gonna, I guess, be trampled or something. Is that who Hua Chong is? Because like, who else would it be? Who else would he be? Obviously I'm gonna find out, but like, rhetorical questions, I have a million thoughts like going through my head right now. But I have a few more chapters before I'm done with the volume, and yeah, that's been like my biggest question, especially
I think around like the halfway mark, where I was like, things are looking a little suspicious. Okay, so since the last time you guys saw me, like in the previous clip, I have read quite a bit. So I am just about to make it to the last chapter. I'm so seated. I know I was originally saying that I wasn't going to be like super surprised about like the big reveal about Sanlang being Hua Cheng, but the tables have turned and now I'm into it.
I'm not gonna lie, there are certain lines that whenever I read them, they kind of like take me out. This line specifically, ever since he ascended, he was worked to the bone like a dog, no lie. Like those specific lines just always feel so out of place. Like, I don't know, it doesn't feel like it fits in with like the rest of the writing, but bitch, it's not even a reveal. It's the way that he just casually dropped that he knew who he was. Okay, I'm processing. I'm not gonna lie, that really subverted my expectations in like the best way.
I really can't stop smiling right now because, like, they're so obviously flirting. Okay, so it's the next day after the last clip that you guys saw of me, and unfortunately my camera did stop unexpectedly recording. That's not how that phrase is supposed to go. My camera unexpectedly stopped recording last night as I was finishing the first volume for Heaven Official's Blessing, and I have to say, I really like how it wrapped up. A lot more than I expected to, honestly, considering that the surprises were kind of like not really surprises, but I can already kind of feel that I'm really starting to love the characters, and it's growing on me, like, a lot. I'm going to continue on to the next volume, volume 2, because the brain rot is settling. I'm already starting to feel like I need more and more of the series and more of the characters. We'll see how things go. I tend to hyperfixate. I tend to, like, obsess over something until there's no more media for me to consume from, you know, that series or brand, whatever it is. And I kind of feel like we may be heading in that direction. I will check in with you guys at the end of this volume, see where my head's at, see what I'm thinking, and yeah, let's kind of keep it going. Okay, like, shit's going down. I'm nearing the halfway point. Like, I'm 40% of the way through. Our boy is under house arrest at the moment. I'm on the last chapter, or like I'm about to start the last chapter for volume 2. I'm nervous. Like, I feel like I'm starting to like sweat a little bit. Like, so much has happened in this one volume. I'm like 99.9% sure that my theory from like the last volume about Ho-chung being the little boy that Shanli saved during the procession. I have a feeling that's correct. I also have a little theory that Mo-ching is the mole in the heavens. Yeah, I am feeling so uneasy right now. Okay, let's continue. When have I died? Okay, so we're done. I feel a little overwhelmed by everything that happened in this volume. Full transparency, I'm hyperfixated and I feel like I'm being controlled by Heaven Official's brain rot. I have an inkling of an idea that the next volume is going to be a little bit heavy, considering all the topics and all the things that went down in this volume and like some of the things that have yet to fully be revealed. Yeah, I think I'm gonna read something else before I continue on to volume 3, but like, wow, that was so good. The second volume was much better than the first one. Obviously in the first one we're getting introduced to a lot of characters and like dynamics and whatnot, and then in this one they kind of like cranked it up a notch or 2 or 3 or 10. 4.5 stars. I think that one is 4.5 stars. Yeah, okay, I will check in with you guys, I guess like in a couple of days, and we'll see what I start reading next. Actually, hold on, because I have like a mini TBR. Okay, so I can either do Babylon audiobook, the 5th volume for the 7th Time Loop light novel series, or I can finish People We Meet on Vacation, which I stopped at like chapter 3, or I read Burn the House Down, which is a manga that's been on my TBR for a really long time, and it's relatively short. I'm gonna probably like roll the dice, and I will let you guys know in the next update like what I picked up. Yeah, I'll see you guys soon.
Okay, YouTube, it's been a few days since my last update with you guys during this reading vlog, and I know the last time I checked in, I was a little bit unsure of what book or audiobook perhaps I was going to be picking up next. I had a few options that I had listed out, but I did end up picking up or continuing People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry. I had started it a couple months back, and I think I had only made it to chapter 3 before my attention kind of like fizzled out for it. So I'm about halfway done. I think I'm on chapter 20. I think I finished chapter 20 last night. I'm not loving it, if I'm gonna be completely honest. I'm not really loving it. I don't hate it enough where I'm considering DNFing, but I do feel like where I kind of left off last night, and I checked, like when I checked the percentage for what's left in the book, I was a little flabbergasted that it was only halfway done. I'm like, how much more of this is there? How much more of this story can you possibly feed me? We'll see how I feel at the end of it, but the writing itself is not necessarily turning me off by any means. I think my biggest gripe so far with the story is kind of just the characters, the characterization, especially Poppy. How do I word this? Poppy is not typically like my favorite character trope in terms of like female leads in stories or just leads in general. I don't know that I necessarily like the trope where it's like you've been friends with someone for 10 years and this whole time you've actually been in love with them, but you keep telling yourself you're not good enough, or just kind of talking yourself out of it, or just having like those repressed emotions is just, it's not my forte. It's not really my thing. That being said, I'm enjoying it enough where I'm going to continue and try to make it to the end. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at right now. We'll see if in the next half of the book things kind of turn around for me and like all of my complaints and like my issues and gripes kind of get thrown out the window. But for now, I'm kind of like, how can you possibly have anything closer to 15 to 20 more chapters of this? Like, from where I'm at right now, I almost feel like in the next 6 chapters it could wrap it up, but we'll see if it pays off in the end. That being said, I would definitely say that I'm happy that I didn't start off this reading vlog with People We Meet on Vacation, because I almost feel like I would have fizzled out and I would have just kind of accepted that I'm in a reading slump. And a little small part of my brain is wondering if I'm not really enjoying it that much because I keep thinking back to Heaven Official's Blessing, which almost every night I'm like, damn, I wonder what's happening in the next volume. But I almost feel like if this book was really, really good, or if it spoke to me, that I wouldn't really be caring about what's going on in a different series. Like, I would be like fully enthralled by this book. So it's okay. I'm likely going to rate it 3 stars. If it ends really positively, then maybe 3.5. If something about the ending and like the last half of the book just really rubs me the wrong way, I'm most likely gonna give it like a 2.5, but we will see. I will check in with you guys at the end when I'm done with the book and kind of give you guys my last little sayonara, because most likely after People We Meet on Vacation, I'm going to wrap up this reading vlog, and then I will catch you guys like in a second reading session down the line. So I will speak to you guys again soon, and yeah.
Alright, so I'm like towards the very, very, very end of the book. I'll save my thoughts for later. Literally, what was the fucking point of these last 2 chapters? And like his seeming like what seemed to be his rejection of her. What the fuck? Literally, what the fuck? I'm genuinely, seriously contemplating whether or not I save myself the 6 minutes of torture that would be reading this epilogue. Because, like, with how the last 4 or 5, maybe 6 chapters have gone, I'm not sure we can turn this around. This is, wow, what an ending. He moved? He owned a house. Oh my fucking god, these characters are insufferable. I'm done. I'm free. I feel like I've been released from hell. A very mild, temperate hell, but like nonetheless, I feel like I've been released. I'm free. I was being held hostage. If I had known it was gonna end like this, or like that the writing was gonna take such a dip, I probably would have dropped it. But whatever. Alright, so we just finished. By we, I mean me. I just finished People We Meet on Vacation. I'm gonna be honest, I definitely did not love it, barely even liked it. I have a feeling that it's most likely gonna get rated like, no, I don't have a feeling. I know I'm gonna rate it a 2.5 because that kind of felt like I was being held hostage. It had a lot of potential during the first half, which is why I kept reading it. And by the halfway point, I was like, okay, like, I realized what my issue is with the writing or with like the story in itself. And it was mainly the characters, the characterization, some of the character traits that are portrayed within the story. But I felt like the dialogue was pretty good, and I felt like the friendship was written in a really good and strong way. And it's not so much like, oh, and then the second half happened. It's more like the last 10% happened, and everything just kind of got like thrown into a dumpster fire. So I really didn't like that. I'm not going to take this experience of reading People We Meet on Vacation to like never read another Emily Henry book again. But if
the next book I read from the same author is like this in terms of like the reading experience, I'll probably not read anything more. So that was that. It does feel a little bit odd to end a reading vlog like on a very sour note, and also I feel like I only read 3 books, which technically isn't a lot, especially for like reading vlog standards, but I think this is probably like a good spot to kind of wrap it up. And yeah. Sorry, I'm like still reeling from the fact that like the last 6 chapters of that book went like that. Okay, so I will say, even though that was like not a very enjoyable reading experience, I'm not turned off by reading because of it. Like, I know I was in a reading slump at the beginning of this, but instead of not wanting to bother with something else, what I really want is to read another really good book. So yeah, that'll be the goal for the next video, the next time I am, hanging out with you guys. Oh, I do want to make like a quick point. I'm not so sure that I want to make like huge emphasis on like my reviews, like in-depth reviews in videos. Maybe I'll do that like for like a series as a whole down the line, but I can be a little bit rambly and I can be a little bit airheaded. Is that even the right phrasing for it? You see what I mean? Like, I kind of get lost in my own words, or like I trip over my own words, so I feel like video reviews can be a little bit tricky for me, but maybe that's just something that I'll work on towards, or like work on throughout the future of or the progression of this channel. But yeah, anyways, see ya next time.